Hello there guys, it's Stephen here, back with another video, and it's my birthday. Hurrah, happy birthday to me. I just wanted to get that in there because I'm being entirely selfish, but I don't care. It's my birthday, so I can be. But I decided to do a video anyway today because I thought there's something to talk about in general, because I went to see the under-18s yesterday beforehand. They also the first half before the 5-0 victory, which was sweet, and go and check the video reaction to that if you haven't already. But what I wanted to talk about, something that I'm asked about in the comments quite a lot in general on Twitter, people saying, who are this year's current under-18s and how does it work and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to describe the situation, the setup that we've currently got this season, and run through a few names of the under-18s to look for, maybe in 2 or 3 videos over the next week or so. So I thought I'd do that today. And also, if you haven't already, don't forget to go and download the One Football app. These guys to sponsor me again throughout September after you were all so kindly supported me being sponsored by them during August, which means a lot for this channel. So thanks very much for that. But let's get onto the actual video. Now, the first thing to talk about mainly is just about how the format of the under-18s work. What a lot of people don't realise is that it's split into first and second year scholars. Think of it like college, basically. When you've done your GCSE year, you've done your school year, and when you've just turned 16 that year, you move up to the under-18s. Basically, this first years and the second years. It's like college, basically, exactly like that. And every year we have players who could stay there for 2 seasons if they wanted to. But what City have done this year, and I think it's an initiative been driven by Jason Wilcox, the new head of the academy after Mark Allen left. He said he wants these young players to move immediately. You think of last year's first year scholars, it was the likes of obviously Sancho, it was him, it was Phil Foden, it was Matt Smith, it was Tom dele-bashiru, it was Luke Bolton, it was Joe Latibo, yeah, Tyreek Wilson, the whole host of other people. They're all still eligible as second years this year to play for the under-18s, but because they have basically got to the final last year, because they won the Northern Under-18s League, what more is there to do? They've obviously already won that league. They've already been challenged enough there, so they thought they'd basically move them up to the EDS initially, and they've done that already. You've seen already the likes of Foden, who's gone to the first team squad, Matt Smith playing, only 17 years old, playing against Rotherham under 23s and all that kind of stuff. And I like this initiative. So what we've got this year is a whole new squad, apart from 1 or 2 exceptions, a whole new squad. They moved up like 12, 13 under-16s, and they've gone, you're this year's under-18s, even though the likes of Foden and Matt Smith and Latibo, yeah, even though they're all eligible still to play as under-18s, they won't be playing in the league this season. They may play in the FA Youth Cup, and in general, the FA Youth Cup tends to be the strongest team from the first year scholars and the second year scholars, but they won't be playing in the league, and I quite like that. Maybe there'll be 1 or 2 exceptions where they move back down for game time, but I quite like this new system. I think it gets the best out of young players, and we've also already seen the season, and I'm going to talk about it a little in this video anyway, maybe, is we've got some under-16s, this year's under-16s, already moved up to this under-18s team. Tommy Doyle is only still an under-16, but he's part of the under-18s squad. We've seen Reece Devine, a young signing from Wolverhampton, he's already playing with the under-18s. And then Rowan McDonald and a few others, basically. It's a really encouraging system. We've already seen Taylor Richards, who's actually only a first-year scholar. He was playing for the under-18s last year as an under-16. He should now be a first-year scholar. He's already just jumped this group and gone straight to the EDS, which is incredible at 16 years old. They basically didn't see any need for him to play down. And Rabbi Matondo as well, he's doing a very similar thing, though he did play in the league yesterday. But I'm going to cover a few players, just so you know the format, basically. Most of these players are first-year scholars, with 1 or 2 older, 1 or 2 basically from the under-16s this year as well. And I'm going to start with this year's under-16 Spanish centre-back, Eric Garcia. He was a new signing in the summer, and I've seen him play 3 times now, and each time I've been incredibly impressed by him. He is a Rolls Royce defender. I can see why City fought tooth and nail to sign this young lad, because he has a hell of a potential ability reach. He's so good on the ball, so composed, a natural born leader. He has this almost kind of old throwback style as well, in terms of he's very smart, he tucks his shorts up really high, looks like from a distance, so a classic Italian centre-back. He's very composed on the ball, he drives out defence very well, he's very vocal, he leads, he's classy, he's elegant, he's powerful, he's an incredibly accomplished player. I can see why he was captain Barcelona's youth team, because he has this aura about him that is, I am a leader, and he's already taken that straight into life over in England. He looks a special player, one to definitely keep an eye on, a ball-playing, powerful centre-back, some kind of PK mixed with almost like a Maldini kind of stride to him. That's a high praise. I know obviously there's a long way to go to reach potential, but he's definitely one to keep an eye on this season. He might even end up being playing with the EDS if there's opportunities there for him. One as well that's already played for the EDS despite only being a first-year scholar is Rabbi Matondo. Now, he's another player that we've signed from Cardiff only relatively recently. He last season got a few games at the back end of the season for the under-18s as well as an under-16. He's a right winger with absolute searing pace. I'm talking lightning quick pace here. He has this incredible ability to just glide past people as if they're not there. Imagine a Walcott space, but with actual control and actual understanding of where he wants to go and what he wants to do with the ball. He scored a goal yesterday during the 5-1 win against Blackburn, where he basically picked the ball up on the far right on the wing, drove through the middle past two people, then decided to change direction at the edge of the D, cut round the defender and rocketed it in the top corner. It was magnificent. The players could get nowhere near him. At one point as well, he got the ball from his own half and ran about 60 yards down the other end of the pitch, past loads of people. He's a special talent who seems to have this ability just to create something out of nothing because of that pace and the elegance and that stride. He's already played under 23 level, and when he's come on, even against adults and pros in the Checker J Trophy, he's caused trouble there, which says a lot for his potential ability. It looks like he's going to score plenty of goals. It looks like he's going to be a nightmare. I think in general, he won't actually be with the under-18s that often. I think he's already too good despite being a first-year scholar. I think they'll move him up because he knows he needs a higher challenge, and I like that about him in general. I like that attitude for Manchester City. Another player who had some football at the end of last season as an under-16, Henry Ogdenby. He's a local lad from Bolton, I think. He's another winger. He could play on the left or right. I remember seeing him last season. He played against Everton when we were 4-2 down, and he had an assist and a goal right at the depth to level the game for us. And he had a very impressive, solid performance. He's not the most fast. Maybe he's not the most skillful, but he seems one of those effective wingers who has a hell of a finish on him. He seems to be able to cut inside, create chances, score goals, supports the left back really well. And he's another potentially very useful player there. He's obviously, maybe he doesn't quite sparkle maybe as Rabbi Matondo for me personally, and no offense Henry if you're watching this, but he clearly is a very good footballer, the kind of football that maybe would be a star in someone else's team. But he's been a mainstay so far. He's scored some class goals in pre-season from what I've seen, a few curlers from like Leroy Sané's goal against Liverpool. Yeah, he did a few of them in pre-season, and I've not seen loads of him. I've not seen loads of most of these players yet. It's worth adding because they're all new to me, but he looks like another promising young player there. Mainly will probably be playing left wing this season, I think. Continuing the theme of players who also played last year for the under-18s, Jeremy Frimpong, and yes, he is related to the Arsenal Frimpong. He's a little bit less crazy than that, and I think he'll have more of a career because he's at Manchester City. He seems to have his head screwed on. And last season, despite only being about 5'0", a tiny, slight whippet of a player, he came and played out of position at left back last season as an under-16 for large parts of the season and was excellent. A real tenacious warrior of a fullback. Only small, but so much heart, so much energy, and no little skill as well. He was bursting down the left flank, and then when he went on the right back every now and then, which is his actual position, he looked equally as composed and equally as threatening. I love players where, despite their size, they just still have this tenacity. And there's one point yesterday when we were playing against Blackburn where their striker went through and goal. He burst 20-30 yards across the pitch for a last gaff tackle which saved a goal. And it's that kind of attitude that really endears yourself to the coach. And you can have all the ability in the world, but if you don't have the desire and that work rate and all that kind of stuff, to the understanding to know where to be when it matters, you won't get anywhere. And Jeremy seems to be a very likeable player already. He started this season as he's come on right back. He hasn't played much this season actually, but I'm sure he'll probably hold that slot down pretty quickly, if we're being totally honest. And another dele-bashiru, not Tom dele-bashiru, who's a second year this year, but his younger brother, Faseo dele-bashiru. Now, I've only seen him play once, so I can't offer too much information on him. For what I've seen him, he seems a very functional, solid midfielder, big lad, good physique. He didn't seem exceptionally quick or exceptionally skillful, but he seemed to have a good, strong reading of the game, a kind of very useful midfield player. I can't offer too much information about him because I haven't seen him much, but he seems to be another that knows where to be when it matters, and I'm looking forward to seeing plenty more of him this season. One person who won't seen loads of in the ratings is Taylor Richards. As we were saying earlier, he's already skipped right through to the EDS, and if you don't know much about Taylor Richards, he's another highly gifted young player, a very graceful attacking midfielder. He has this kind of laconic gait to him where he always looks like he's taking the piss out of people because he's so composed in the ball, so nonchalant that he almost winds the opposition up. But it comes from a place of immense confidence and ability. He has this laid-back style, but he has this incredible ability to just ping passes in every direction, or find the top corner with a rocket, or just glide past people. He's an incredibly gifted, creative attacking midfielder, and I think we'll see a lot of him in the coming years. He's for City, I think they rate him exceptionally highly. Basically, every year they have a few players on each tier. They probably wouldn't admit publicly that they see as the ones that could be stars, and Taylor Richards very much falls into that category. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. There'll be a part 2 where we look at the likes of Tommy Doyle and Nathaniel Beta, Bobby Duncan, and all the others basically left over from the ratings this year. But I thought I'd give you a small insight into some of the ratings play. Let me know in the comments if anyone you want to see discussed on these future videos. If you haven't already as well, subscribe to my channel and go and check out my band video as I mentioned yesterday, because it's really good. We played at Alba Hall in Manchester. Get in the comments, drop a like on the video, and I will see you soon.